Hi everyone, it's Lori Bradley here in St. Louis, Missouri. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and it is time for Fun Fold Friday. My card today, I don't know what to call it, so I'm going to call it a double card front. It was demonstrated at Stampin' Up! On Stage last year and it's trickled down. Maybe you've seen it, but the front has the piece with the designer series paper and the stamped image, and then we're going to lift that up and oh, look at this, there's another card on the inside. Now my sample that was given to me actually has the white piece on the top, so it really should be here, and we'll show that when I make it, but that piece is where you would write on. So it's two cards in one. If you wanted to put white right here, you could absolutely do that and write some extra things. If it was a big fancy happy birthday, it would be happy birthday, you're how old, too many candles, it could keep going. It could be a card that says something on every layer. But since I'm doing a thank you card, we're not going to do that today. And we're going to start with a 4 1/4 by 11 piece of cardstock. And normally I don't like to waste cardstock, so I'm going to show you what I'm going to do here. We're going to waste just a little bit, but we're going to cut 2 3/4 from one end, and I've scored it at 5 1/2. So just from one end, we are going to cut 2 3/4. All right, this is going to be our card base, but I actually need this piece to be 2 1/2. So we're just going to scoot it over a little bit more and cut that 1/4 inch. So this 1/4 inch piece is scrap. You're not going to use that. You can throw that away or use it for something else later. That's the only cut that you have to make. So we have our card base, and it's going to fold down just like this. All right, that's the front. We can go ahead and we can attach those pieces. I have a 4 by 5 1/4 piece of textured botanical textures, designer series paper, and you can mix and match. I'm doing it all black and white today. You could easily do this with colors, or you could add some color the black and white designer series paper, but for today I'm just going to go with some elegant black and white. All right, so it's going to go on the card base evenly, not crooked. Oh my goodness, it's stuck. All right, I'm gonna put that on our card base. Then we are going to take, this one is 3 1/4 by 8 1/2, 9 1/2, excuse me, and it's scored at 4 3/4. All right, so this is going to be your inside card, the little flap, and this is where you'll write your actual sentiment for that one. And I chose a leaf pattern for this one. If you wanted to take your Stampin' Blends and color this, you could, or if you wanted to use a sponge dauber and color the whole thing, it's entirely up to you, but I'm just gonna leave it black and white. I like to use the liquid glue because it's movable. For example, when it lays down on the card when you don't think it's going to, and it doesn't move. All right, so we've got our leaves. Those will be the front of the inside card. And then I'm going to use regular Stampin' Seal to attach this to the card base because this piece needs to be pretty strong to stay on there. Now to do this, I'm going to just put it right in the middle. I'm going to center it on our designer series paper. We'll push that down. So there's our opening. So guess what? We're going to go ahead and attach the white piece right on the inside. And I will put all of the measurements in the comments so that you can see how big these pieces are. But this one is 3 by 4 1/2 because the foldy area is 3 1/4 by 4 3/4. All right, so that's it for the inside. That's where you can write. Then we go with our fold down. Now the front, I chose a black background piece and we're going to glue that right there. And that one is 2 1/2 by 4, okay? And that makes good use of your designer series paper. You just need 3 patterns of paper, or you could do all the same actually if you wanted to, but the 3 coordinating just gives it a nice bit of fun. Okay. So this one's gonna go across the top. And again, I got extra glue where I don't need it. What in the world? All right, we've got that one. All right, now we have the front piece that's gonna go like this, and it's gonna be centered in this space as well. But before I put that on, I'm going to stamp this one. And the Botanical Texture Suite is pretty awesome. The Textured Notes has this pretty little leaf stamp. I'm gonna stamp it twice. I'm going to stamp it once, full strength, and it doesn't necessarily matter exactly where. And then I'm going to stamp it again, second generation, so that it's off just a little bit. So we've got a little bit of a shadow. And then I've got the thank you words that I'm gonna stamp down in the corner. Now you're wondering, well, what about this right here? It looks a little funny, Lori. We're gonna cover that. We're going to tie a little bow. Stamp thank you. Okay, now black ink needs to go out of the way. Okay, so let's put this on our black panel. This card looks so fancy and it's so easy. It does take a little bit of extra paper, so if you want to send that to somebody special, you can absolutely do that. All right. I think that should be a little bit shorter. Let's see what I did. It should be 4. That's what I did. Okay. Again, I will send you the measurements. I will put that in the comments so that you've got the right measurement, but we can wing it. All right, now when you attach this, you want to make sure you don't get any adhesive on the bottom section of your flap, because your card will be glued together and we don't want that. So I'm just going to put seal right across there, make sure it's pretty solid, and then I'm going to measure it again, or center it, not measure it. I'm going to put it right there, push that top front down, and then that's good, and that's good. Everybody opens, and then I have a little bow, a little white quarter-inch ribbon that's really fun to use. I'm going to use a glue dot, and I'm going to put that right over those stems so that you don't see them. We'll just put those right there where those attach. And there you have it. We have our double card fun fold. So thank you for joining me. I will, like I said, put the measurements into the comment section so you can remake this if you would like. I hope you have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week.